Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle and this is the Belle Perspective, and today we're going to be reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville, latest episode, Destined for Better. But before we get into that, I'd like to shout out several of our new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. I'd like to shout out J Simon 1. I'd like to shout out Clipper Marshall. I'd like to shout out Monique King. I'd like to shout out Carolyn Collins, and lastly, Ashira360. Thank you so much for joining the channel. I really appreciate it. You know that this is a growing channel. I have a goal of obtaining 50 subscribers. We're at 46 right now, so we're almost there. And I know that's a small number, but listen, it's a brand new channel. I've just started, and so I am super excited, and I'm so glad that you guys subscribed. Thank you. So again, if you want to be a part of this growing channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button and let me know what you think about my commentary down in the comments. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what you think about what I said, what they said, what we said. What's going on? What do you think? Hit that subscribe button for me and we'll get down in the comments and talk about it for sure. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the mess. Okay, so the episode opens up with Stormy at her photo shoot for Canvas Beauty. Stormy is starting to grow on me. When she first came in, I was looking at her kind of sideways as far as like jumping on the male bandwagon train. But I'm starting to like her and wanting to see more of her. So Melody gets there and they're talking about Tiffany asked her a question. Basically, hey, Mel, how are you? And Melody turns around and answers her like, I'm fine, thank you. Anyway, basically, it was just so weird. Did y'all catch that? The way that she greeted Tiffany, it was the weirdest thing. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So Mel tells the crew, Mel tells Stormy and Destiny. Mel tells Stormy and Tiffany that that Destiny invited her to come to visit her at the photo shoot. And they're like, oh my God, what? Girl, what? Are you serious? So what? Okay, so y'all, that mean y'all friends, you know? And so Mel was like, no, girl, that doesn't mean anything. And so Mel says, you know, we need to normalize people having boundaries and not being friends with people they don't want to be friends with. And I am 100% in agreement with her. I really, truly am. I do think we should normalize putting up boundaries for people and allowing people to be able to choose who they want to be friends with for whatever reason. That's fine. But I do have a little bit of pause with this because the reason why they're pushing you to want to be friends with Destiny, because the reason you're not wanting to be friends with Destiny doesn't make sense. No one knows the real reason. And I know that you said in the beginning of this episode or beginning of this season 20, 30, 40 episodes ago that Destiny was talking about you. But girl, like, girl, what did she say? We have yet to hear what she actually said about you, you know? And so I think people are still like, girl, whatever you thinking it was, that's real petty. Get over it. Be friends with this Destiny because she really wants to be your friend. But Mel doesn't see it that way. And again, she has every right to feel that way, but it's just still, girl, people are asking you to be friends with her because they don't understand why you're not friends with her. So that's where that's coming from. So anyway, childish and not displaying immaturity and bitterness. And I'm like, you've known Martell for how many years and you still don't know him at his core? You still don't know what he's capable of? And obviously we see that it didn't turn out that way when they was arguing back and forth on social media and Martell was doing what he was doing. But anyway, I'm like, girl, Martell is not that person. Martell, you do not give him anything. Like she kept saying, you know, you can't give Martell an inch because he'll take a mile. That is absolutely the truth across the board. You give Martell an inch, he will take a mile. That's why you don't give him an inch, because he will take and run with it. But y'all keep playing with him. Y'all keep acting like he normal, like something okay. Everything ain't normal up here. It's not normal with Martell, okay? So Melody, or not Melody, but Stormy kept asking, so girl, why are you bringing Martell? And again, Melody gives her decision. She feels like, Martell's been, pretty immature, or very mature, and not as bitter, and not all these things. And it still was like, girl, what? Stormy didn't even say nothing. She just let her talk, right? Okay, girl. So she was talking about the difference in, okay, so then they also talk about how, don't you think this may confuse the children? Tiffany jumps in and says, this is the best thing for the children. And Stormy was like, I felt like I gathered that Stormy didn't think it was the best thing for the children. And I am along with Stormy. I don't think that this is the best thing for the kids. I really don't. I think it's going to confuse the children. And this is where Mel was talking about how her children are very special and mature. I'm like, children and maturity do not go together. Those two words don't go together. And I would hate for a child to have to feel the burden of maturation prematurely. I would hate for a child to have to emotionally develop quicker than they would usually have to. And so when people say, oh no, my children are very mature, they know how to handle things, I'm just thinking to myself, but do they? Like, are you really I don't want my child to mature too soon, because these are little kids. These kids are not older than 10. And I just think that that's a burden that I would never want my child to have to bear before they're actually emotionally prepared to even express how they feel. So I don't know if I agree with her in that aspect. So anyway, again, Martell is the king of give an inch, take a mile. And by this time, I don't understand how Melody doesn't understand that. Like, so you're willing to give Martell a second chance to be in your presence, right? After he's disrespected you on a number of occasions, like crazy disrespect. But Destiny can't get another chance to be your friend because you heard what. Girl, I get it. He's the father of your children, but at the same time, you still need to be feeding him with a long handled spoon. He is not that person. And I guess she just hasn't learned that yet. So anyway, he's the father of your children, but at the same time, you still need to be feeding him with a long handled spoon. He is not that person. And I guess she just hasn't learned that yet. So anyway, Destiny and Demi. So I like Demi because it seems like Demi is able to handle Destiny. I was I was very annoyed with Destiny because she still is on this not being honest about her true feelings. She's still not being honest with her cousin. They're planning some sort of cosmetic to get, event or whatever. They're constantly doing events on this show. They really need to be doing other things. I'm so tired. Like, talking about businesses and how they started the businesses and the thing. Like, talk about that stuff. I'm tired of hearing about doing these events. And she thinks that if she throws an event that she can invite the same people that came to the peace party. And I'm like, girl, whatever production is requiring you to do. Okay. So again, Demi asked her, if Mel says she wants to be your friend, would you jump on it? Destiny looks us all in the eye and lies to our faces. Destiny, I'm tired of the lies. Like, stop lying. That's not the truth. You are really hurt about it and you really care about Mel, and I wish that you would own it. It would be so much easier for us to argue your case, because Mel did do you wrong, right? She didn't handle the situation well. She made up something in her head and used that to leverage it against you because you're still Martell's friend and she didn't like that. And you're also still Tisha's friend. You didn't choose sides and she didn't like that. But you're not being honest about the situation. And so I'm not able to, you're not playing your hand right. And I say this almost every time I talk about Destiny. She's not playing her hand right. So anyway, so we get to the house, Mel and the kids and Miss Van, they're preparing for the trip to Destin, Florida. And so Miss Van is downstairs getting snacks together for the kids. Melody is upstairs getting the clothes ready. And Melody comes downstairs to talk to Miss Van. And Miss Van is like, I'm glad that we're going on this trip, And Melody says, yes, I even invited Miss Marlene. She's going to be coming on to the trip too. Miss Marlene is Martell's mama. Now, let me tell you, Miss Van's face, a couple episodes, the day of Madani, when Martell told Miss Van that he was going to be going on a trip, Miss Van's face was looking like, boy, I know you lying. I know you fucking lying. She looked like, I know you fucking lying on her face, right? So then today, on this episode, she's in the kitchen talking to Melody. Melody telling her Miss Marlene coming. She still got that, I know you fucking lying on your face. There was no part in the kitchen where Miss Marlene was actually excited about what was happening. And she kept saying, yeah, okay, cool. I was like, oh no, that's not, it's not cool. It's not cool. It's not cool. But they're those type of women. I still don't understand why she needs to take Martell on this trip. I understand that it was a family tradition when they were married, but I think right now, because they're divorced, so to not confuse the children, and the children actually were getting confused, and you can hear it in their conversation later on in the episode, and I'll point it out. But the kids were, I think that if it's a tradition that y'all have done when y'all are married, I think you now need to be able to start creating new traditions separately. Okay, y'all can come together for birthdays, you can come together for graduations, you can come together if somebody's hurt or something like that. But the level of disrespect that Martell has shown you, he does not deserve to be in your space at all, ever. Okay, and so there's any time that the kids, you need to be dealing with the kids, obviously you want to do it amicably, but you don't need to have him in your space like that to co-parent. And I cried both times that I watched the episode. So Kimmy is having to undergo 16, she's leaving a chemotherapy session, and they're in the car, and there's something about Maurice that is just not comforting to me. And I feel like, and I'll talk about it a little bit later in the next scene, but I feel like Maurice is not comforting at all. So, well, in the first time we talked about it, he was comforting, but now I'm just like, I don't know, Maurice, I really don't. So anyway, so Kimmy has to undergo 16 different treatments, 16 chemotherapy treatments in a span of 20 weeks. And then she'll also have to go through a surgery and then also radiation. And then, you know, if everything is the way we would hope for it to go, she will come out on top and be okay. And so I think I'm going to actually just wrap this up. She ends up meeting with her family as well when she comes from the trip, or from the appointment. And I think her, and I hate to say this, but we already know that when women get sick, healthcare professionals typically tell those women, listen, be prepared for your husband to leave you, because they're not equipped to take care of people, right? They don't want to be trying to take care of someone. And so because Kimmy is also a nurse, I think she understands that concept all too well. And so I think that she knows that Maurice has not shown her that he is a selfless person, and that he's willing to stick around and be considerate of others. While prior to her illness, I don't think he has shown her that. In fact, he has not shown her that, and I think that is one of the things that she worries about quite often. And so I saw Kimmy do some things, and I'm gonna just say this, and then I'm gonna move on, because I don't want to speak negatively against Kimmy at all, because I really respect her, and I'm just hoping for the best for her, truly. But I feel like Kimmy was doing a little bit of performance when she was talking to her family. Like, she was having to sit and be supportive of her family and of her husband, and try to boost him up and oversell him, if that makes sense. Almost working overtime, having to hold up her people, and then also her husband, even though what she's going through, if that makes any sense. It's like, I'm having to reassure my family, I'm having to reassure all the people around me, reassure my husband, also prop him up and make him seem like he's this stellar husband as well, because we know in the past, And I think the only reason why she did this is because we know in the past that Maurice has not been the selfless, what can I do for you? If I make this decision, how will it affect you type of person? In fact, he's been quite the opposite. And so I think that that's a fear of Kimmy's. And it's going without being said, but I'm saying it. I'm gonna say it. So Jalen, oh my God, I've never seen him like that before. You could see the hurt in his face. And when she said, I pray for my babe, I'm about to get. She was like, that's my baby. I adore him. He adores me. And that's my baby. She's like, I pray for my baby. And I was just like, oh my God, Jalen. I'm so sorry, Jalen. So, be there, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think that should rotate. They both should just be there for Kimmy. And so, Kimmy, I'm just wishing you the best. And I'm going to keep on going because I cannot. Vacation. First of all, that house was so nice. Oh, baby. Oh my God, that house is so nice. First of all, the beaches in Destin are pristine. Like, that's where you go. If you're gonna go to Florida and go to the beach, you go to Destin. Those beaches, so pretty. So pretty. Anyway, okay, so Mel had to pay for the trip. Owen wasn't paying for it. Oh, girl, what? Carlos, huh? Anyway, so Mel points out, I'm sorry, not Mel, but Malia points out that both Mel and Martell are wearing white. And both Mel and Martell in the confessionals are like, yeah, we just want to make sure our kids aren't getting things conflated. And they probably think, oh, unity and all this other stuff. And Martell's saying, yeah, we don't know what the future holds. The kids, I'm sure the kids want to see us back together. I mean, we never know what's going to happen. Martell wants to get back with Melody. And actually, let me preface that. Let me say this. Martell just wants to be with a woman who is going to make him look better. Martell understands the privileges that he was able to receive in marriage. And so at this point, he really doesn't care who he marries as long as she brings the same benefits as Melody. And so if Melody is here and he can convince her to be a goddamn fool again, he is going to take it, right? And so this whole time he was trying to make little advances and say things. He brought her a little snack. Didn't even get the snack right. After all these years, y'all still don't know each other. The snack, sir, you get her snack wrong. Anyway, I just can feel when Martell's thinking that he's got the upper hand. And I was just like, Melody, you should have never gave him anything. You should have never gave him anything. So then Tank, which is Martell Jr., also mentions, you guys are getting along and it's just really nice. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. And so Melody wants to point out that, we're not getting back together. Again, Melody, you wouldn't have to have these conversations. And she was like, you understand, you understand what it's like. Them kids do not understand. They may tell you yes, but they do not understand. And that is such an awful burden to put on them kids for whatever reason you're doing that. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. So again, Martell wants an unsuspecting fool. That's what he wants. He don't want Mel. He just wants an unsuspecting fool to be able to provide him the benefits that he had when he was married. Okay, he want that credit score to go up. That's all that is. Okay, so apparently, again, and in the confessional, Martell says, yes, my kids know what divorce is. They understand what it is. If adults don't understand what divorce is, children by all means will not understand what divorce is and how it really affects. And if divorce is earth-shattering to adults, what do you think divorce would be for some kids? And so I'm just like, y'all are putting way too much on these children and expecting entirely too much for them and thinking that they're way up here when these kids are under the age of 10. I think the oldest is 10. That's just much to put on a child. And I completely disagree. I think you're wrong. So anyway, so we get to the end of the episode and we come to find out, they show the previews. Lord Jesus, Martell invites the Scotts, Tisha and Marceau, to come to Destin, Florida. Now, Twitter was going up they was up in arms about this. They was like, why would the Scotts come? They knew they not friends. Why would she even come? Why would she even accept the invitation to come? Now I'm like, hold on, time out, wait a minute. Now when Melody came to Madani, she didn't get an invitation, she just showed up. Who asked her to come? Y'all was saying, well, production made her come. She had a job to do. She needed to be there. Excuse me. Isn't that the same thing for the Scotts? You think Tisha wanted to be at Destin with Martell and them? You think she wanted to be there? No, that is production. So I'm gonna sit back and watch how the Melometers and the Melomaniacs, how they spin this and make it all Tisha's fault, and how they're saying it's Martell. Well, how did Martell invite? Martell did not invite the people. That was production. And if y'all think for 1 second that it was production, into it next week. Again, I almost feel like this is trivial compared to what's going on with Kimmy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is such trivial conversations that we're having compared to what's actually happening with Kimmy. But anyway, Kimmy, we wish you the best. We really, truly do. I am finished talking about these folks in Huntsville. Get down in the comments and tell me what you think. Again, my name is Belle. This has been the Belle Perspective. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my growing channel. All right. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.